the AKA WLTV, the #1 wine show on the internet. And this is BBQ Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. It is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here. If you want to jump in, more than happy to have you. A phone call it is. An email it is. I'm not doing my best Bigfoot impersonation. A phone call it is. Here's how you get in touch with the show.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966, sending an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and here's what's happening. First and foremost, if you don't get the newsletter, race right over to the homepage. Right there on the front, it says subscribe to newsletter. Drop your email in. I think that's all you really need. I don't require anything else, but you got to have the email address for the newsletter to get to you. It goes out right around noon Eastern every Tuesday, gives you a heads up on what's happening on the show. So if you haven't done that yet, do that. As a thank you, you will also get my very own homemade personal barbecue sauce recipe, which you can give a try, or you just delete it. I don't care. But it's my thanks to you. It's my effort in saying thanks to you for signing up for the newsletter. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, and we'll take the duration of the first hour. That would be the 14 and 35 past the hour segments. Somebody who I have been following for quite a while on Instagram, and I have become wildly fascinated with Instagram and who's popular. Why are they popular? What kind of content are they producing? And then as I have become more and more familiar, I don't want to say savvy because I'm not very savvy. I hire people to be savvy for me. I realize that there are varying levels of dark underbelliedness of Instagram. People that are just gaming the system in order to rake cash. There's people that are really trying to grow in an organic way and trying to create content because it's a passion for them. The cooking part, the engagement part. I'm trying to find myself more in line with the latter and not the former, although the former seems like a lot of people are really into doing that. Then there's that weird spot of doing the former for a while, getting a really big following, and then pretending like that part of your Instagram life never happened, but you have 200,000 followers, and now you're crediting yourself because you have all of that great following base that you did in a weird way, right? So we will be, nevertheless, outside of all of that, I'm going to be talking with somebody very popular, doing a lot of great recipes, live fire, pellet-friendly cooker. You might know her as Hey Grill Hey, heygrillhey.com. Susie Bullock will be joining us. Very interested in talking with her. Then we'll move to the second hour. It is the fourth Tuesday of the month, so you know that's going to bring a visit from the Embedded Correspondents as we refire the Embedded Correspondents segment. Jon Solberg from Michigan will be joining the panel tonight and ongoing. I thought he was a great add at the end of the year. Instead of leaving him in the bullpen in case somebody drops out, we'll go ahead and insert Jon into the foundation of the embedded correspondence. We will also have Doug Scheiding, longest-running correspondent from Texas, Steve Ray from Tennessee, David Huff, who is on business tonight in Texas, I believe Amarillo. But he is the traditional Oklahoma correspondent, so looking forward to catching up with those guys, and we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about pellet stuff. We're going to be talking about non-barbecue meat dishes. Who knows what else we're going to be talking. Somebody's going to say something. It's going to spark conversation and controversy. And fun and frivolity ensues. That's how we line up tonight. Susie Bullock, Hey Grill Hey in the first hour, embedded correspondence in the second hour. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Right, I don't know if you saw this. Oh, wait, first, let me get this out of the way. If you don't follow me socially, please do that. Instagram, at BBQ Central Show. Same thing on the Twitter, at BBQ Central Show. Facebook, if you're watching the feed here on Facebook, you found it properly. But if you don't, /BBQ Central Show, give me a like there. The World Food Championships finally announces their 2019 dates. Typically, the World Food Championship takes place over the course of a week. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little bit more. This time, and from Mike McLeod's mouth a couple weeks ago, they have moved out of Orange Beach, now landing in Dallas, Texas. That will take place October 16th through the 20th. October to me means in the competition world, not just a particular sanctioning body, but in the competition world, that's some of the biggest named barbecue events during the course of the year. October has traditionally been reserved for those mystical contests, like the American Royal, which has since moved up into like early August. The Jack Daniels, that's kind of more where I'm going than anywhere else. And I did look a few hours ago as to where the 2019 Jack Daniels is going to slot out in October, because traditionally that is held in October, and I wasn't able to find the current date. So if you know when the 2019 Jack Daniels will happen, I am wondering if somehow or another the World Food Championship will somehow date conflict with the 2019 Jack Daniels. And if it does, I have to imagine that that is a purposeful effort by Mike McLeod to see where he can draw the line or move the needle when it comes to the World Food Championships. And I guess what most would consider to be the most prestigious barbecue competition. Arguments to be had, of course, but when we talk about the Jack, there is reverence, there is mysticism, and romance. So if they do conflict, I have to imagine it is not by chance. It is by purpose that Mike McLeod is trying to move the needle to World Food Championships and see who he can get to come to his place in Dallas versus those that will anchor down and go to Lynchburg at the Jack Daniels. So we'll see about that. If you know the dates to the 2019 Jack Daniels, hit me up and let me know when those are. Quick update from new friend of the show and an Ohio barbecue renaissance man. His name is Dan Hurst. He's been on the show specifically when we were talking about the competitive steak scene. He is the founder of the American Competitive Steak Association, but he also runs a number of barbecue competitions here in Ohio, and he wanted to pass through a couple updates. The 2019's Pigmania Persistent Pitmaster Points Pursuit. It's a lot of P's, Dan. The 5P, as they call it, has started. The winner gets free entry into all Pigmania barbecue and steak competitions for the 2020 season. It's currently valued at over $2,000. Again, the winner gets free entry into all Pigmania barbecue contests and steak competitions for next year, 2020. Big value there. Also, Pigmania is now accepting nominations for the 2019 Barbecue Lifetime Achievement Award, Of course, your nominations welcome. I would recommend that you vote for this guy. Get me in Ohio at least. I mean, come on. If the Barbecue Hall of Fame wants nothing to do with me, can we please at least get my home state to recognize what I've been doing for the last 12 years? By the way, last year's winner, a guy who does not know me, Johnny Trigg. Of course, well-deserving, no doubt about it. But can you imagine if I get into the Pigmania Barbecue Lifetime Achievement Award the year after Johnny Trigg, the godfather of barbecue? Am I allowed to be the godfather of barbecue talk entertainment? Can we both be godfathers? Johnny, I'm asking you personally, can I be a godfather of the barbecue talk entertainment? You can be the godfather of barbecue still. Maybe we can find common ground in that respect. We'll see. Hey Grill Hey, coming up out of the break, I want to talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue. Attention folks in the biz of barbecue. Established in 1882, Southside Market and Barbecue is the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They offer premium Central Texas barbecue products, slow smoked over real wood. Shipping, distributing, and manufacturing sausages for companies across the U.S., from food trucks to multi-chain restaurants. Southside sausage can be on your menu, too. All meats are processed right in that on-site USDA-inspected facility, a trusted partner with a focus on quality and authenticity. Wholesale options nationwide. They ship using FedEx. Also, food service distribution through Sysco, U.S. Foods, and Martin Foods. Co-packaging capable from research and development to package completion. They can also follow your recipe or help you develop something exceptionally new. Private label opportunities available as well. You might want to look into that. Visit SouthsideMarket.com for more information. That's SouthsideMarket.com. Here's the kicker. When you go to SouthsideMarket.com and you start throwing in all of their sausages and briskets and ribs into your online cart, and right as you get to checkout, you start thinking to yourself, I sure would love to get 10% off. Okay, how about that? All you have to do is enter code BBQ Central, all one word in lowercase, BBQ Central. You can get 10% off your entire online order. Good for podcasters and live listeners only. That's 10% off using promo code BBQ Central when you visit SouthsideMarket.com. That's SouthsideMarket.com. Greetings to Kinger, Jon Solberg, and Sean in the instant chat. Good evening, gentlemen. Happy to have you aboard here. Hey Grill Hey, coming up out of the break. Stick around, be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All of Butcher Barbecue products have been tested on the competition circuit, as well as in backyards worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood and visit butcherbbq.com to stock up now. Always trust your butcher. All right, when we talk about accounts on Instagram, that brings some great content. This is one that is always mentioned, but aside from that, a great story behind it all, and it's one that I wanted to bring to you, the Centralites. If you're on Instagram and you're a fan of barbecue and grilling, you're probably already following the count. So let's go ahead and race to the Traeger Grills hotline and welcome first-timer to the show, Hey Grill Hayes, Susie Bullock. Susie, how are you?
Hey, I'm so good. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fabulous, Susie. Appreciate you asking. Great to see you there. Lots of stuff to get to this evening. Maybe not the most usual type of interview that you might do or have done, because we want to do a little backstory here. But let's start, from the back. Where'd you grow up? Where do you come from? And where are you at now?
I was born and raised in Utah. I still live here with my husband and my 3 kids. I split time between the Salt Lake City area in the winters, and in the summers, my family owned a hotel and an American-style steakhouse near a national park in southern Utah called Bryce Canyon. So we would go down there in the summers, and I would bus tables and wash dishes until I was old enough to wait tables and work the line, which was really fantastic and a great way to grow up. Got married after college, had a few kids, and kind of found myself unexpectedly in this amazing world of barbecue.
So that's going to be fun to kind of dig into here in just a second. As you had referenced, you really did have a unique exposure to the grilled food world quite early because of that restaurant. How did that place compare to some of these new high-end joints that we're seeing pop up all over the place?
Oh, it was for sure not a high-end place.
Were you talking like Sizzler or something like that?
No, it was better than Sizzler. But I will say that it was in a very, very tiny town of like 500 people, maybe. And so the food that we had access to was all food service, like delivery style stuff. So it was not like high-end steakhouses today where you can hand cut whole muscles and pick your own grading. We very much catered to incredibly hungry hikers and tourists who were very excited to have a very thick steak and a nice, fat, juicy burger.
Are you surprised when you see how the steak scene has evolved on a commercial side, that it is where it is at this point, or are you not surprised?
I am not surprised because, and this probably comes from that restaurant experience, right? We catered a lot to European tourists that were traveling in like the early 2000s. The national parks were huge. They wanted to come see America's national parks. And in southern Utah, there are 5 that are within a day's distance of driving. And so people would plan an entire week to come see the national parks. And beef at the time wasn't as readily available or expansive in a lot of the European countries that were traveling to where we were. And so for them, this was like magical American cuisine, right? And so as a waitress, I would bring out like a 16-ounce porterhouse and set it in front of them, or like a double bacon cheeseburger. And the eyes just went so big. And just seeing that kind of reaction that people had to steak and to burgers and that kind of cuisine, like, I'm not surprised at all. I think it's very, it's just universal, right? Like,
I mean, is there anything more, if you're visiting from a European country, you're doing all this hiking, I mean, does it stand to reason that there is probably nothing more American after you get done hiking and seeing the national parks and have a big, fat, juicy steak?
Right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I think the growth of how popular and prominent this type of cuisine is isn't really a surprise to me, but I love it and I love being a part of it.
Did you go to college?
I did. I actually have a bachelor's in science in psychology.
Is that like my business degree bachelor's that I got?
I use it all the time.
So, I mean, college is kind of weird. I mean, do you think it's a necessity at this point, or given how much cost is? And I mean, I look back and look at all of my friends. Certainly there were a few, but look, I mean, when I really look back on it, these were ladies and guys in high school that said, hey, I want to be a chemist, or I want to be a doctor. And so they did that. And then there was a lot of us that were like, well, I guess we should be going to college because this is just the next thing. Do you think we should reevaluate the emphasis of where college is right now, given the cost and also the debt that kids are coming out with?
Oh, 100%. I like I said, I have 3 kids, and my husband and I are now full-time entrepreneurs. he left his 10-year CPA corporate controller gig to help me meet Sling on the internet. Like,
he must like you a lot.
He does. He's a big fan of me. But the truth is that things have shifted so dramatically in how people make money. I couldn't have gotten a degree for the work that I'm doing now. It didn't exist, right? Like, the idea of creating content for people and using that as a marketing platform, it didn't exist. It really didn't. And there couldn't have been classes that I could have taken at college that would have given me that kind of education. This was a trial by fire, if we want to make a barbecue pun. So I've told my kids college is not a requisite. It's an option. And if they do have something specific that they would like to go into that requires higher education, we will encourage them and support them through that. If they want to start their own endeavor and be entrepreneurial, we'll help them through that. If they would like to work blue collar and get a trade job, fantastic. We're very open-minded.
2020 is obviously hindsight. Would you have gone to college if you knew what you're going to do now, or no way?
I think so, because for me, it was a lot more affordable. I graduated college with zero debt, which very few people can do now. And I learned a lot about how to be self-motivated and how to be driven and how to be independent. And I don't think that I think I could have also learned those skills in other places. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I don't think college was a waste of time for me at that point. I think it taught me a lot. So it was a good, safe place for me to kind of stretch my wings and learn.
Susie Bullock joining me here on the show, heygrillhey.com, also on Instagram as well. So the Hey Grill Hey phenomenon is unique as it starts. You weren't sitting around thinking you needed to start a YouTube channel or fire up an Instagram account. You were just helping a neighbor out, and that's kind of that's kind of how this whole thing started, right?
Yeah. So I left college, got married, had kids, right? And I transitioned instantaneously into the stay-at-home mom role. And I made it about 6 months before I realized I needed something to keep my brain busy or I was going to go crazy.
The Wiggles weren't doing it for you?
Hey, I just really don't like laundry. So I needed to find something that would keep me busy enough that I didn't have to do laundry. And I could put it off for longer. That's the truth. So I started working for a website that was a blog. And this blog was about coupon deals and how to save money on your kids' Christmas and all these other things. And I just worked on the back end doing content creation. So I helped write posts as a ghostwriter. And a couple years later, a neighbor had an opportunity come up for her to write recipes on the backside of a blog for a company that manufactured smokers. And she was not interested in the position, but she knew that I knew about how blogging worked kind of on the back end. And she also knew that I had a really strong love of food and a good culinary background. Not like culinary school, right? But but I love food and I had experience in that way. So she recommended me for the job. I picked up the job. And a few days later, a smoker shows up on my front doorstep and they said, we need 5 new recipes a week that can you write and create 5 recipes a week for us for this blog that we're starting? And me being luckily ignorant enough to not say no, hauled this thing out to my backyard, fired it up and started cranking out food on a smoker.
Was it exciting? I mean, you get the grill. Do you mind if I ask who the grill company was?
It was Traeger.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if anybody uses the Traeger app or gets recipes from the Traeger website, I wrote lots of those.
Really? Yeah. I mean, they're kind of a sponsor of the show. Shout out to Traeger. Yeah.
I wrote. They fired me later. That's how the story goes.
They fired you or they smoked you? Okay. So, I mean, you jump right in, right? I mean, you're cranking out 5 recipes a week. I mean, are you finding it to be difficult or did it come pretty easy? And this is where the mojo starts to kick in.
So this was like 7 or 8 years ago, right? When Traeger had kind of changed hands and we're really launching into this fantastic new world of pellet grill manufacturing and marketing and really marketing to the backyard enthusiast. But up to that point, they had a lot of really like barbecue dudes that knew what they were talking about. So when I started writing recipes, I was incredibly intimidated because I was writing for an audience that knew more than I did, which is always a scary place to start, to not be writing from a place of authority. And I didn't like that feeling at all. And I knew that if I was going to continue, I had to have a better handle, not just on the product, but on the meat that I was putting on there, on the recipes that I was using, on the techniques that I was trying out and testing and writing into these recipes. So I dug really deep into barbecue research, and I call it my my barbecue college that I sent myself to, because there's not really a culinary program for barbecue enthusiasts, right? So I read every barbecue cookbook that I could get my hands on. Like every 2 weeks, a new book came from Amazon. And I just consumed as much as I could. I even had friends that would bring cookbooks to me to read because they knew that I was interested. And I watched all of the YouTube videos that I could find. And I just really dug into it. And I did cooking. When you're cooking every single day, you learn a lot. And you learn really quickly. So not only was I doing my best to like read and take things in and teach myself that way, I was also applying everything that I learned that same day. And as I worked through this, I found that I absolutely loved it. First of all, like this was a very, very, very enjoyable process for me. And that I was pretty good at writing recipes. I had a knack for combining flavors and kind of developing flavors that had a really great end result. And I think because I didn't necessarily have a very traditional background in barbecue, like that low and slow wood-fired cooking, it allowed me to be a little bit experimental and to try new things and maybe push some boundaries in some ways for the recipes that I was writing. And as I was seeing these recipes shared on social media, people were responding. And they were cooking them at home. And then they were taking pictures of their food and posting the pictures that they cooked on Facebook and other social media. And I could see, I could kind of see the way that this online community was working and how barbecue people liked to hang out and talk to other barbecue people. And so first I kind of fell in love with the food and the recipes and that process of cooking barbecue. And then I really fell in love with the people and the community that surrounds this barbecue culture. And from then on, like that, it was lights out. There was nothing else I wanted to do.
I don't know if you know who this is, but they're sending me a note to say hi. Nancy Lowski says hi. Do you know Nancy?
Hi, Nancy.
Hey. By the way, she's a Buckeye, so, you know.
Hi.
Cleveland.
I think Nancy, I know Nancy from back in my Traeger days.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're going back. All right, I like it.
In a while.
Where does the name Hey Grill Hey come from?
A joke that my husband and I played in the shopping grocery store aisle. We were looking for certain ingredients, and so kind of here's the transition. Like I was working at Traeger and I was working as a contract employee, which means that I was working from home and sending recipes remotely. So I wasn't in office, and this was before they had moved to their big headquarters in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And so when they made the move to Salt Lake City, they told me that they were bringing all the jobs in-house. And the blog was being transitioned away from like a blog to more of like they were doing their apps and everything on the website being integrated, which was a really smart move for them, by the way.
Yeah,
There's no like bad blood or anything. But they let me know that I wasn't going to have a position there anymore as a freelance recipe writer. And so I really hit this point where I had to decide, well, that was the easy road, right? Like I had a built-in audience that I didn't have to maintain. There was a brand message that was already established that I didn't have to build. But that was all taken away. And I still had in my mind so many recipes that either were in development or that I had started the process for, even that I had written and photographed already, but nowhere to put them. I had no outlet for this anymore. So I had to decide if I was going to apply for another job or look for another job in recipe development. But I just had this gut feeling that it was time to jump and to go out on my own and give myself the freedom to really push some of these recipes that I loved and that I had been developing and had been working on. And I knew that I would be starting from scratch, and I knew that I wouldn't have an audience. And so we had to figure out what we were going to call this thing. So we wanted it to be lighthearted and we wanted it to be fun. We didn't want anything to be like so serious or so heavy. We wanted people to know, because that's who I am, right? I'm like a young mom of 3 kids, like trying to make her way in the barbecue world. And so we were trying to come up, my husband and I were trying to come up with a play on the words, like girl, grill, like Susie Q. We can't, you know, like so many different things. And we just landed on Hey Grill, Hey as a joke, because I guess there was an MTV show where one of the people was like, hey girl, and somebody else was like, hey, and then it kind of became this like mainstream phrase. So we transitioned that and ran with it. And it's been really fun because most people can't say our name without saying like, hey grill, hey, even if they don't know initially where it came from.
Yeah, and maybe I said that in my promo video earlier today. Hey grill. I always want to say like, hey girl, and of course you just explain why I want to say that. So I always have to catch myself and say, hey grill instead of hey girl. So, and
it was intentional. We wanted it to be fun, and we wanted to have people kind of thinking about what they were going to get when they came to our website.
So when you decide that because you have these recipes in development, because you don't just want to hang it up or go apply for other jobs, you're going to go it alone. Do you realize that there is a value right off the bat with social media, especially Facebook and Instagram? Or did you just think it was Facebook back then and didn't really know too much about Instagram? Because that seems to be, if you're a barbecue or grill person and you don't have an Instagram account, you're a little behind the times.
I was lucky enough to realize it from the very beginning. And part of that was because I had another neighbor, apparently I had a very large neighborhood of people who had ideas, but she worked for a startup company that put on races, like races that people could sign up for and buy. And part of their marketing platform was social media. And so I worked for her again, like from home, helping them with their engagement on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. And so I actually had behind the scenes experience from a brand perspective on each of these social media platforms. So I think that was incredibly helpful when it came to starting my own site. So I knew right away that each of those platforms was going to be important to at least have a presence on. So, and I liked Instagram probably because that's the one that I use the most personally. So that was the easiest one for me to jump into right at the beginning.
So what's the easiest way for you to track success, and what seems to really generate the most interest from your followers?
Video. I think every single platform is moving to video in one way or another, right? Every platform already has, right? Here we are. Every platform already has video of like ways that you can utilize video to grow your own platform. For us, Facebook was a very, very, very big deal. We did have a few videos that did well on Instagram, but Instagram is actually one of our smaller platforms. Facebook, we have 2 channels on Facebook. So there's the Hey Grill, Hey fan page that has the little blue check mark, like that one's me. You can follow that one, and we share recipes that we've published in the past. We share every time we put up a new recipe, and we have a new show that we're doing, and we're publishing long 6 to 10 minute TV show style content every Thursday. And then we have a Facebook watch show, which is entirely video. And those, we have videos go up every single day on that channel. And those, between those 2 pages, we have almost 3 million followers between those 2 pages.
Wow, that's huge, right?
Yeah, and it, honestly, I can tell you it was 100% video that grew those platforms. We had our first viral video. It was Dr. Pepper jalapeno beef jerky, and it took off like a rocket. And honestly, that was like a very pivotal recipe for us and kind of changed the idea of like, this is something that I love. This is something that I want to continue to do, to something like, oh, this is something that can generate revenue. So that was cool.
What do you find isn't a big eyeball draw for the fan base?
Twitter.
Really? I mean, is it just too clogged up anymore?
I just think the stuff that really floats to the top in the Twitter universe is stuff that's controversial, stuff that causes people to type really fast and angry. And like we have a following on Twitter and we continue to post on Twitter and utilize that space. But I feel like it is the least effective, I would say, in terms of our goals, which is to get people back to our website, right? Like social media is great. And we have great numbers on social media and great engaged following. But for us, we want you to come to our website. Like we want you to hang out on our pages that we've designed, that we've put a lot of money and love and time and care into curating, so that you can find recipes, that you can be inspired, and you can cook something from our page, share that experience with your family and friends. And that's a place that you want to keep coming back to, right? We want you to hit the bookmark button. And instead of going to Facebook or Instagram, you just come to us and come hang out with us on there. Because all of our videos are on our website too. All of our recipes are there. We send out amazing emails every week when we feature and highlight people that have cooked our recipes. So yeah, I mean, for us, the biggest draw is to use whatever social platforms are out there to bring people back to our home base.
There are, a number, I guess you could say, of Instagram accounts right now that will teach you how to get hundreds of followers every day if you follow their method. But it's usually done with someone else's high-quality picture, and then you bury the credit all the way down the post, if at all.
Yeah.
I assume you're not a fan of that tactic.
No, I think there is a proper way to do. I'm not like anti-reposting 100% like it's the devil. I think there's a way to do proper reposting, and I think that there's a way to do that with getting approval from the content creator and it becoming more of a collaborative effort where you both benefit, right? And then I can share that post that you made with my followers, and we can even just you did today saying, hey Grill Hay's going to be on this show, right? And then I share that, and then my followers know, oh, Hey Grill Hay's over here. That's cool. And so I think there is a way to be collaborative, and I think there is a way to share, and it changes on different platforms. Facebook is very pro sharing other people's stuff, and let's help each other out, and let's drive the page views to each other. Instagram, you got to tread lightly because people are so incredibly protective of their content, as they should be.
Sure.
You need to have those conversations and talk to each other and build a relationship. I think the skeezy way of reposting is you steal something without. I had to block. I think I've blocked 9 accounts this week of people that were stealing. Wow. Oh yeah, I probably do at least one a day, sometimes more, of people that have tagged me, right? But it's way, way, way down, and they didn't ask my permission, and their entire account is reposting, and their only intent is to grow their fan base so they can sell the account, which is against Instagram's terms of service, or they can use the account to sell product, right? They usually drive you to like a really crappy website with barbecue themed t-shirts, or their intent is to sell sponsored placements to ad networks, right? Like to different companies. And all of those are really incredibly unethical.
Susie Bullock joining me here on the show. Susie, can I hold you over for a couple minutes here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the website and then get into some recipes?
Sure.
All right, stand by. We're talking with Susie Bullock from Hey Grill Hay. I'm going to talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru. They've always believed that outdoor cooking could be easy and should be easy because it can be, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. The Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control and greater freedom with automatic pit temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pit master. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill. You can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. By the way, if you have a Barbecue Guru controller already and you buy the Monolith, you don't have to buy a new controller in order to operate that fan. All you have to do is hook up the controller that you already have right to the fan that's built in to the Monolith, and away you go. Also, the Monolith comes with a bunch of other accessories and nests, stuff that you get jammed up by some of these other ceramic cooker manufacturers. So check them out. The website, bbqguru.com. If you have any questions, give them a call at 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. GURU. They will make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. All right, we are back with more Hey Grill Hey right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
This portion of the show being brought to you by CookingPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. You visit CookingPellets.com for more information. You can also buy from there. If you don't want to buy from Cooking Pellets and you feel more comfortable with Amazon, buy at Amazon. Download the free Cooking Pellets app as well. We are talking with Susie Bullock from Hey Grill Hey. Thanks for hanging with me through the break there, Susie.
You betcha.
Here's a question. As the success starts to ramp up, money starts to generate, at what point did you and Todd, your husband, decide that he should stop being the CPA and be part of the HGH team full time? And like doing the Hey Grill Hey full time, you and Todd have to be around each other like all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another
just
follow-up.
off frame, actually. We're never more than like 6 feet away.
Great, perfect. I have a great follow-up question to do. So when do you guys decide that it is, I guess, an okay idea for Todd to leave probably what is a fairly lucrative and fairly stable gig?
I told him on New Year's Eve 2016, I said, 2017 is our year and you're quitting your job. And this is when I was maybe making like $500 a month from my website. And he was like, no.
You can't live on $500 a month? I mean, what's up?
It's like a really nice offer for a job, but I'm going to have to pass.
Yeah.
But I was determined and I hustled all that year. And that's when we first started kind of catching our breaks in terms of really utilizing the video strategies on social media. And the videos were great because they drove a lot of traffic, right? But if anybody's been in social media for a long time, you kind of know that virals are short-lived. We have a really short attention span as social content consumers. And so you have this really fantastic viral and then it dies. And then maybe you're lucky and you get another really fantastic viral and then it dies. And so we were really struggling to find the consistency and the income that we needed. But just a couple months after that, we were really lucky to lock down a sponsorship with a company that we absolutely loved. And it's Camp Chef. And so they actually wanted to work with us for an entire year, which was like, it's very unusual to have a year-long sponsorship. But our relationship was really great. And we already had a great relationship just because I liked their products a lot. And so we set up a sponsorship. And so we knew for like a year, okay, this is what our minimum income is going to be, right? Was it enough for us to live on? Absolutely not. But was it great to have like a supplementary thing that we could actually count on?
Yeah.
Yes. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is a great thing and I can build on this. And then we started to experience like these really jumps in viral traffic. And then we noticed when they went back down, they started to go back down lower and then they would rebound a lot faster. And during that time, I also really started to focus on Google traffic. Like, how can I get people that are Googling something to end up on our website, right? And it was a lot of work. We've been working on our SEO traffic for well over a year. We started in 2017. And if you Google right now, smoked prime rib, we have 2 results on the first page. We're number 1 for smoking ribs. We're number 1 for smoked pork shoulder and smoked pork butt and smoked pulled pork for one post. And so being able to kind of turn up organically when people are searching for resources for barbecue, all that did was fulfill exactly what I wanted to do when I started this, right? Was I wanted to give the backyard cooks the resource that I didn't necessarily have when I first started. I had to go to books and I had to buy books and I had to read and research. And so I wanted to create a resource for people online where they could find something that would help them feed people and get that same like giant eyeball experience that I would get serving people steaks at my family's restaurants. And so that really, really helped bolster like our monthly income because we had recurring visitors coming back over and over and over again. So we got about halfway through the year and Todd was like, oh, you might actually be able to do this. And so he went and talked to his boss. He was like, hey, Susie's got this thing and she really wants me to quit my job and I think she could make it work. And his boss told him to burn the bridges. He's like, we'll be here as long as you need us to, but like if you feel called to go, you should go. So he worked for 6 more months. Our goal was to have, I had replaced his income in that 6 months.
Nice.
So our goal was to have at least 6 months saved up when he quit his job so that we could survive if things went real far south.
Yeah.
And so we took the leap in December. So that year he quit his job. It was the last month of the year, but gosh darn it, I made it. And I told him that we would. So he quit his job and yeah, we've been working together for just over a full year now.
Susie
and
Bullock
it's been awesome.
joining me here on the show. So, I mean, let's talk about that for a second. You guys are around each other all the time. And look, I get it. You're married. There's love. You guys are parents. There's, you know, a commitment there as well. I get all that. But let's be honest. There isn't any division between work life and home life since it's all together. So
Yeah.
how do you make it work and do it in a healthy way?
I think the best thing is that we are incredibly compatible. So we don't argue. We both are able to kind of accept critique really well. But I will say the first probably 3 or 4 months were the hardest because he had quit his job and we were still really trying to figure out the division of responsibilities. Like, okay, these are all the things that I've been doing up to this point. And if we want to take this to the next level, like I need help. I've done as much as I can do on my own. He was helping me edit videos up to that point. But in terms of all the other social media, the content creation, it was on my shoulders. And so how can we keep that so that I can still develop recipes, which is what I'm passionate about and good at, but the site can still continue to grow. And so just figuring out what he was good at in this space and how he could contribute and how he could have his own things. That was the hardest part, but we've really like settled into our niche and he's taken on a lot, especially this year as we're launching a full product line. He's spearheading that entire thing and he's actually launched it as its own complete like business. So that's been really fantastic. And I think the craziest thing when it comes to like work-life separation is that we just don't have one and we're not super sad about it. Like, I think it's really easy to hit burnout and hit overwhelm. But we're lucky because we really, really, really love what we do. And we feel freaking blessed every single day. Who gets to make a living writing recipes about barbecue? Right?
Few.
Like, that's the craziest thing. And if I could have been a child and somebody had asked me, like, what do you want to do in your future? I wouldn't have said this, but if I had known it was possible, I sure would have picked it. Like, this is so anyway, we just have a lot of gratitude and we're grateful every single day. We're grateful that people still continue to come to our site and use our recipes, that they share pictures of our recipes that they've cooked on the internet, and that they share these experiences with their family. So anyway, we're really lucky. We love it.
Another way that you're generating or adding another revenue stream is, and I don't know if it's a lot of websites or a lot of content creators, but I know a few, and now I can add you as a new one to the list, is doing these exclusive groups. You pay X amount per month or per year, depending on how you have it set up. You get bonus content. So you have something called the Grill Squad, and if you just want to talk about that for a couple minutes, what's my ROI as a squad member?
So the Grill Squad is kind of awesome, and it's probably our favorite place on the internet that exists, even like beyond our website. Luckily, our website is like the vehicle to get people there. But the Grill Squad is, I mean, I'll tell you what it includes, like being a member, right? So it's $50 for a year. And you have unlimited access to my meat master classes. So this is 2 hours of video footage where you're essentially in my kitchen with me. And I show you step by step how I prep brisket, how I do pulled pork, how I do smoked chicken, and how I do ribs. And I don't just show you a recipe or give you like a pretty picture and then a printable recipe. This is very much hands-on. Through the trimming process, you get close-up shots. You see how everything's supposed to look. You see how I use my knives, how we smoke, what kind of wood we use, what temperatures we're shooting for, all of these little details. And each of these videos comes with a printable workbook. And each of the workbooks has a log where you can track your cooks every time. So it's like your own barbecue journal. And those are kind of the heart of the Grill Squad. So you have unlimited access to those videos. We also have a private Facebook group, which is amazing. We have, you get kind of this exclusive access to the website. So if you're one that has bookmarked my site and come back for recipes over and over again, you know that there's ads. That's how we monetize. That's how we support our family and our business. But if you're a member of the Grill Squad, they're gone. So you have no ads anywhere on our website, which is kind of cool. It's like paying for Netflix, right? You get this premium viewing experience. We also do a discount for all Grill Squad members, and right now it's on all of our products. Oh, Todd brought in. So we just launched this year. We have a barbecue seasoning line, and we have sauces. We're running some custom butcher paper that'll be out soon. We have shirts, hats, and we're going to continue to add products to our store all year long. And so you have exclusive discounts on all of our store products. We do monthly giveaways for members. You're automatically entered to win. They're $1,000. You get both of my ebooks. So I've created 2 ebooks with recipes that don't exist on the website. You get both of those for free when you're a member. And we do podcast interviews that aren't released anywhere else. You get early access to all the podcast interviews.
You're doing podcasts too?
We haven't released any of them to the public.
Just exclusive for the Grill Squad members.
Yep, we're starting. So they've had exclusive access to those for 7 months. So we're starting to roll out some of the earlier ones to the public. Yeah. But the Grill Squad will continue to get exclusive access before anyone else can hear them.
So, like, what are the big names that you're podcasting with?
We have interviewed Christy Vanover. She was our most recent from Girls Can Grill. She just took first place in chicken at Slaborama.
Yes, using your chicken rub, by the way.
Yes, she was using my chicken rub.
Shout out to Christy. Good job.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, Christy. And it was her birthday. I love Christy.
Right.
We have interviewed Jared Standing from Standing's Butchery. We've interviewed Christian Stevenson, DJ Barbecue. We have interviewed, I'm trying to run through my list of people that we've interviewed. Oh, Susie Felton from Felton Angus Beef. We've talked to the guys at Bacon's Air who do the pork panko products. So, yeah, it's been really fun.
All right. If you need any context, I mean, I've kind of interviewed everybody. You know.
Okay.
Let's talk quickly about a recipe. Well, you know what? Let me back up just for 1 second. If we have to go a little bit long, we can go a little bit long.
Okay.
You had mentioned rubs and sauces. I have to ask you this because every time I talk to people about sauces and rubs, this is the question that I love to get answers on. Actually, I was just talking to a guy. I've started a barbecue documentary. I don't know if you knew this, but there's a guy by the name of Dion Blumenrader. He's just a listener of the show. He's starting to bring his sauce to market, so I'm tracking him once a quarter. He's coming in. We're starting right from ground zero, and we're going to track him over the course of the year and see how it goes. But here's my question to you as it was to him last week. 10 years ago, I would say, Susie, you got to get a sauce and a rub to market because it's hot right now. Fast forward to 10 years, and I'm saying, Susie, why in the hell would you bring a sauce and a rub to market? Because you can go into grocery stores, national grocery store chains, and have an aisle or an aisle and a half of barbecue and grilling related products. And it seems like there's the potential for more noise than being able to stand out. So how, I guess, A, was that a concern, and how are you differentiating yourself from all of the other stuff?
So we have a couple of things. We initially got into rubs and sauces because our readers asked us, hey, we love your recipes. We would love the convenience of being able to have a pre-made sauce or a pre-mixed rub on our shelves that we can pull out and use, right? So up until this point, everything that we have done on the website in terms of recipes for people have been free. Anyone can access them at any time. There's no paid window unless you want to join the Grill Squad and have no ads, right? But even they can access any of the recipes anytime they want. And we have rub recipes. We have sauce recipes. We've even bottled the sauces that are on our website. We've adapted them a little bit so that they can stand up to the bottling process better. Like, there's things with pH and things with clumping. And so we've had to adapt them for the retail space. But honestly, we made them because people asked us for them. And we figure amidst all the noise, amidst all the products that are available, if people still want our product, we'd be pretty stupid not to give them the products that they're asking for, right? And so it's definitely been... It was not an easy decision to make. It's one that we've talked about for a long time. But we felt like we could definitely offer something unique to the space in the way that we were doing our products. And I am sure that you're familiar with sauces that are on the market right now, but a lot of them are supplemented with liquid smoke products. And man, we just did not want to go there.
Heard that.
So each of our sauces are specifically designed to complement smoked meat, not to give regular meat smoked flavor.
Got it.
Does that make sense? And so they're not augmented with artificial smoke flavor. They're really like true to the flavors that they represent on the bottle. And they're really delicious. And I very much love them. There's no like high fructose corn syrup. There's no fillers. We really are proud of the products that we've created. And I'm really excited to put my name on the bottle because it's something that I don't know. I wanted to give to the people that asked for it, and I wanted to give it to them in the best way possible. So from everything from like sourcing the shape of the bottles to the way that we were producing them was very intentional and very thought out. And for us, it's less about turning this into like a massive money-making business, right? For us, it's about serving the people that are loyal to us and serving the people that come to our page and serving our followers that are excited about the stuff that we're doing. That was the biggest driver.
Can I get a quick recipe from you?
Sure.
Balls of fire.
I did not name them that, by the way.
Shout out to me. I think that actually might have been my buddy Stover that said balls of fire. But these are like meatballs, but they're also got jalapeno and they have some cheddar cheese and they have some bacon. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So this was a recipe that I actually wrote almost 2 years ago. This was like pre-video. So I had developed this recipe and loved this recipe and wanted to share this recipe. And so I did in like a picture form, right? And every time I would share the picture on social media, it would go nuts. People love it. And I finally thought it was time to make a video. So we made a video just a couple of weeks ago. And this was kind of very intentional, like pre-Super Bowl food. Like we want this video to hit when people are thinking about like finger food, party food, something you can throw on a stick and just enjoy. And they are every bit as delicious as they sound. So they're beef meatballs, 100% beef meatballs. They're like mixed in with cheddar cheese and jalapenos. They're bacon wrapped and slow smoked. So all that awesome fat renders out of the bacon. And then they're brushed with whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is. I used my apple jalapeno barbecue sauce. And they're freaking awesome.
And a great super big game food. I don't want to get sued.
Oh, yeah, we can't say that word.
Great soup or bowl food.
There it is.
Right.
That's what I said, too.
Oh, you said soup or bowl?
I did, yeah.
All right.
In case anybody goes back and double check it.
Yeah, that's right. We want to make sure we're both not sued. Susie, you want to do a lightning round before I let you go?
Sure.
Of course you do. Here we go. I'm going to ask you some questions, just the answer right off the top of your head. There's no right or wrong answer. Ready?
Yeah.
True or false? Searing seals in the juices.
True.
No! Searing doesn't seal in the juices?
Well, I did wait and do it at the end. So
Susie,
I reversed here.
We're going to have a conversation offline. Next question.
You
yes.
said there was no wrong answer, and then you dinged me.
I know, but don't you know I live in hypocrisy all the time? That's part of the show. Yes or no, I still have the first barbecue pit I ever owned.
Yes.
Let it rest or let's eat?
Let it rest.
Radio or podcast?
Podcast.
Bourbon or gin?
Sober.
Oh, well.
I've never had a sip of alcohol in my life.
Oh, okay. So old fashioned or Sazerac is probably out of the. I just quit drinking myself over a year and a half ago. Beef brisket or pork ribs?
Oh, brisket.
Guy Fieri or Bobby Flay?
Ooh. Guy Fieri.
Ina Garten or Ree Drummond?
Ina.
Of course. Open Pit
Sweet Ina.
or Sweet Baby Ray's?
Open Pit.
No!
I don't even know what that question was.
That's a barbecue sauce recipe, or that's a barbecue sauce question. You don't know.
I have never heard of Open Pit in my life, but it sounded bad. It sounded great.
Oh, let me tell you something. I do have a hidden agenda when it comes to the Open Pit Sweet Baby Ray. I have no idea, and if this is totally over your head since you don't really know what it is, but I have no idea how a human being can open up Open Pit barbecue sauce, see its fluorescent orange color.
I've seriously never seen it. Is it like in grocery stores?
Yes,
I've never even heard of it.
Widely available. It's got this really bad blue wrapper on it. I mean, you've never seen it because once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's how weird it looks.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm pretty sure that if it touches your skin.
Their name is good.
Yeah, it's a great name, but
That's a great name.
It probably stains your skin orange too. Like that's how much I feel strongly against it. And I try and set up my man Sweet Baby Ray, but everybody picks Open Pit. So
I don't even have anything against Sweet Baby Ray's.
I love Sweet Baby Ray's. That's why I'm saying it's a setup question. Nevertheless, if you want to check out Susie, you go to heygrillhey.com. You follow her on all the social media
Follow me
channels.
now. I don't even know what Open Pit is, and I don't know how to sear things.
Right. Well, that's okay. We'll win everybody back. Yeah, please. So again, heygrillhey.com is the website. And Susie, I'm hoping you had a good time enough for maybe you could actually come back and we could really talk a lot more about food and stuff. But I thought this was a great story.
I like talking about food.
All right. Well, once again, it's Susie Bullock. heygrillhey.com. Slowly. And we will look for you again maybe in a month or 2 or 3 or whenever it fits in your schedule.
Sweet. Thanks so much for having me. It was fun.
Susie, thanks so much. There she is. Susie Bullock, heygrillhey.com.
All guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
Yummy. Joe Monday talking about there's no wrong answer. 5 seconds later, wrong answer. I know. It's my show. I know that I said there's no wrong answer, and then immediately I said wrong answer. Remember, if you're a fan of the show, my favorite place to live is in the city and state of hypocrisy. In the great words of Doc Holliday in the movie Tombstone, Wyatt, it appears my hypocrisy knows no bounds. Speaking of knowing no bounds, Big Papa Smokers know no bounds as well. Knows no bounds as well. Wow. Having trouble with the lips. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at BigPapaSmokers.com has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. How about those championship rubs? Yeah, you know. Flavors like Sweet Money, Cash Cow, Double Secret Steak Blend, just to name a few. They have 13 perfectly balanced flavors that transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. They also have a very unique partnership with Simply Marvelous Barbecue. You combine those rubs with the Big Papa rubs, now you have the West Coast offense, which some of the best pitmasters in the country are using on the competition circuit and winning often. You want sauces? They got them all. Aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, they also have these great cookers to choose from. Looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use? Check out that Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers is the exclusive Mac dealer and even offers special packages. Not a fan of the pellet smokers? Take Old Hickory Ace BP. It's the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. If you're a backyard barbecue enthusiast like me, looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, the M Grill from Texas is just what you need. They're built like tanks. Hey, it's clear that Big Papa has everything you need to barbecue better. Every product featured on their website, hand-selected to help you better up the barbecue game. Have any questions? 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop their website, BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. way long. Really worth it. Appreciate Susie Bullock for coming on. We will have an abbreviated second hour open, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is John Dawson of Patio Daddy-O Barbecue in Boise, Idaho, and I've got it locked on the 50,000 gigawatt blowtorch of the internet that is Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wieners. Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Meanwhile, getting murdered on the email for telling Susie Bullock there's no wrong answers, and then 5 seconds later, dropping the hammer. Oh, she's a good sport. She gets the show. Come on. Yeah, and by the way, 0.0 people ever not resubscribing to Susie because she said open pit. I mean, come on. Next time, it's all food talk all the time. But a great story. I mean, I was fascinated as I had read through her bio and did a little research on her through the internet, and then obviously following her on social media. I mean, that's a unique story. That's a story, I mean, that has a lot of balls. You have a nice corporate job. You have, in the beginning, what was $500 a month, and then you have your wife telling you, hey, I'm going to make this thing work, and you are going to leave your job by the end of the year, and they made it happen. So if that's not a success story, I don't know what is. And to her point, do any of us want to have a full-time job cooking barbecue and being sponsored by great companies and being able to monetize social media? Hell yes, all of us do. Am I quitting my truck sales job? Hell no, I'm not.
Get that big stuff out of here.
It's not that I don't like to take a risk. It's that I want all of the money. I want all of the show money, and I want all of the truck monies. Truck sales are brisk right now. Class 8 is through the roof. You want a brand new Peterbilt? See you spring of 2020. No!
Get that big stuff out of here.
Can't get a new truck this year, Jones. Can't get one. Come holla at me in 2020. Hey, still to come on this show tonight, the Embedded Correspondents segment coming up in about 7 minutes. That's right. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on the Instagram and Twitter. As a matter of fact, here's how you get in touch with the show.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966, sending an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
By the way, shout out to Emma Ray for voicing that, one of my favorite voiceover artists right now. Fell in love with her voice when I heard her introing her dad's barbecue show, the Steve Ray Show. The barbecue and grilling show, Owl's Nest barbecue and grilling show. And I was like magically in love with Emma's voice. And I said, Steve, if there's any way I can convince you to use your studio and record that angel's voice, I'm going to start using it. And he said, I will do that. So she's available for contract work, by the way. I pay her handsomely, as you should as well. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, we take you all the way back to 2010 and a visit with John Marcus, a double-header interview, as Jon Solberg, the executive producer, likes to say, where we talk extensively about what was then known as Season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters. That's where they followed my best friend Johnny Trigger-Round, Harry Sue, Tuffy Stone, just to name a few. Now, conceptually speaking, that was not season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters. It was actually, I think, 3 versions prior to that on Outdoor Living Network or the Challenge Network or whatever the hell high-rated cable or high-numbered cable channel. Not high-rated, high-numbered. Eventually, it got into that version of Barbecue Pitmasters, which was the first version that everybody fell in love with. By the way, revisionist history, everybody hated season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters until season 2 of Barbecue Pitmasters came out, and then everybody went back and loved season 1. Why can't it be like season 1? Season 2 blows. We hate Kevin Roberts. He parboils his ribs. So you can check out a doubleheader with John Marcus coming up on Friday. Just subscribe to the podcast. Also, be sure to tune into my weekly radio appearance on the John Cupo Show here locally, Cleveland, 101.5 FM or 1330 AM. Otherwise, just get it on the internet, wintradio.com. I'm usually in there around 7:30, and it runs for about an hour or so. All right, quick update on the KCBS voting. It's finished. And as my friend Tan Mom likes to say, let's just cut right to the chase. Okay? Where's Sal? Let's just cut to the chase. Let's get right to the point that matters. Okay? In case you didn't know, both David Qualls and Candy Weaver voted onto the board. You're welcome. Once again proving, if you show up on this show, you get your platform out, you tell people to vote for me, you tell people why to vote for you, you get elected. Shall we run down the laundry list of people that have appeared on the show that got voted onto the board? David Qualls, Candy Weaver, in 2 different versions, has been voted on. Jason Cole appeared on this show a year ago, was voted on at the beginning of last year. And the list goes on. So don't come on to this show looking for a board spot and thinking that you're just going to do some lip service and you might not get elected. Don't think that. Show up on the show because you want to get on the board and you think you're going to make a change because you're going to get elected. Also, unrelated to this election, the Kansas City Barbecue Society made the official announcement that they hired Heath Hall from Pork Barrel Barbecue to be their new and first ever CEO. I assume he is going to have to step down as incoming president of the National Barbecue and Grilling Association if he hasn't done so already. He was supposed to start his presidentialship now, I think. So he has accepted a position of CEO at KCBS, and probably until further notice, that's probably going to be my last covering of any KCBS news going forward. Also, many emails asking, how was the duck? Well, you're going to have to wait for that because I don't have the duck yet. It's in transit. Embedded Correspondents coming up next. Let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. Some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. All I have to say is Green Mountain Grills and the word prime, and you will know in about a month's time what I'm talking about. Get excited now for what will be, at a minimum, a refresh of Green Mountain Grills, if not a full-blown change. Go to greenmountaingrills.com and check out their selection of cookers. The Jim Bowie, that's the big one. Daniel Boone, that's middle size. The Davy Crockett, that's the mobile version. On that mobile, if you don't have access to a traditional power outlet, all you have to do is use the 12-volt adapter and plug it right in your car, truck, van, or SUV. Totally portable, and you get the wood pellet-fired taste. Come on, doesn't get any better. GreenMountainGrills.com is the place to go. They also have rubs and sauces, lots of great how-to videos with Sterling Smith and Phil the Grill, just to name a few. Also, pellets to fire those cookers. Don't forget to get the pizza oven insert if you get the Jim Bowie or the Daniel Boone. It's like $150 or less. Get it on Amazon, have it shipped to you. And now you can have a high-heat pizza oven in lieu of using it as a slow and low cooker or a smoke roaster. Great. Huge versatility. Pizza parties all the time. So fun to make. So quick to make. It's Green Mountain Grills. Jason Baker and the gang, longtime sponsor of the show. GreenMountainGrills.com. That's GreenMountainGrills.com. The embedded correspondents are up next. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, Smithfield lovers, go to Smokin', S-M-O-K-I-N, Smokin'withSmithfield.com. Make sure you are checking out everything they're updating that website with. There may or may not be now a few spots for the Committed Cooks program if you have 20 or 25 bucks. And the spot is still open. Go ahead and kick it over there. You'll get over $100 worth of gear back from Smithfield that you can represent. Once you start winning, they will have that Walking with Smithfield program available as well. Probably get Belinda Hammond back on the show here sooner than later to go over that. Good folks over at Smithfield. Just cooked up some of their bacon for dinner this evening. Very happy for that. All right, it's the fourth Tuesday of the month, and you know what that means. We're going to be welcoming in the embedded correspondents. We have the gentlemans from your top left looking, Steve Ray from Tennessee. There's Doug Scheiding right there. He's our Texas correspondent in Texas, but the Oklahoma correspondent is David Huth, bottom left, and the gentleman from the state up north and will be ongoing, Jon Solberg, who also happens to be the executive producer of the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Guys, I was just told by Christy Vanover that the dates for this year's Jack Daniel will be the weekend of October 26th. So while I did have a thought that Mike McLeod might be trying to flex his almighty competition muscles to see if a cook would decide to either go to the Jack or go to World Food Championships, they are not a competing. World Food will be the week in advance, and then the Jack after that. Steve, do you think that's a good idea? Should Mike not try to compete with the Jack Daniels?
I don't think the WFC competes with the Jack Daniels, Greg. It's two different animals.
Correct.
I don't think it mattered. I don't think it would matter.
My thought was that maybe he would try to go up against those dates on purpose.
I don't think when he set the date, it even crossed his mind.
Doug, your thought?
I don't think so.
I think it did probably cross his mind, but I think he was putting it out there because, like you, I couldn't find when the Jack was, and last year it was at the end of the month, but still was a possibility of some crossover between the two.
John, did you think he was going to angle for that or no? Are you on mute? John, I got nothing. All right, David Huff, how about you?
It seems kind of fishy that the dates ended up being the same. I don't know. It's a possibility.
No, they're not the same. One's a week. One's a week ahead of itself.
I misunderstood what you were saying then. My apologies.
That's all right. We have Steve, Doug. John, are you there yet?
I'm here.
Okay. Did you have a thought on any conspiracy or what?
I don't think it's going to be a conspiracy. Ultimately, the World Food Championship is going to crush most competition barbecue. So
really,
it's going that direction.
All right. Well, I'm not going to. Okay. That's probably a different topic for a different day. I know Doug certainly has a disagreeing opinion on that. Probably Steve does too, but because there are two different angles. David, do you have a disagreeing opinion on that as well? It's probably 3 against 2.
No, I don't have an opinion right now.
No opinion. All right. David,
I'm just too busy seeing Doug shaking his head that is cracking me up.
All right. David, you need to make sure you're talking that loud all the time. Otherwise, I'm going to have to let you go back to Texas. You're in Amarillo, right?
Yes, I am in Amarillo.
Okay. Okay. So first topic of this evening, gentlemen, is number 1, pellets. Can you really taste a difference in the type of pellet or the species of wood pellet? And let me go to Jon Solberg first. John obviously uses a number of cookers, but he does have a Green Mountain grill. So give me your thoughts, John.
I can't really find a different taste in different flavor blends unless I'm using mesquite. I can taste the mesquite pellet, but if I got a oak and cherry blend, a oak apple blend, a maple apple blend, I don't really taste the difference in the pellet itself.
Doug?
Yeah, I agree. Mesquite, you can taste a little bit of the difference. There is one Traeger blend called the Big Game Blend, and it has a rosemary. As you know, people know Traeger has a patent for oils in pellets. It has a rosemary flavor to it. I did an event for Traeger and smoked my brisket all night using a rosemary, the rosemary in Big Game Blend. You could taste the rosemary on the brisket. So in that case, yes, I could taste it. I actually do drink a bit of wine, and so I have somewhat of a discerning taste, but I can't really taste the variation in smoke very much on pellet. So I don't think it's as big of a factor as most people do.
Doug, I don't want to ask you a question that you can't answer, and I'm certainly not asking you to speak on behalf of Traeger. I can do that with Chad when he comes on the show. But as you had mentioned, they do have a patent on these oils that flavor wood pellets. When I had pushed what was then Mr. Barbecue and the sales and marketing guy for Traeger Corporate, 5-10 years ago, whatever it was, he was completely unwilling to even talk about it. Do the current leadership of Traeger talk about it, or do they still not like to mention it unless it's brought up, or what?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything trying to hide it or cover it up or whatever. Do they promote it? No. But is it a big factor? No, for me, not really. To me, it's Traeger has control of their pellets from start to finish, and that's more of a factor than putting rosemary oil or whatever oils in the pellets.
David Huff, you run a very top line Yoder pellet cooker amongst others. What do you think about the pellets?
No, I can't really tell a difference in flavor, nor can I tell a difference necessarily from brand to brand. We might get into that, but from a flavor standpoint, unless it's pure hickory, I can taste that. But other than that, they all seem the same, especially when they get into competition blends where they're mixing 3 or 4 different types of wood in one pellet. It almost all runs together.
Steve, I know you don't have a pellet cooker per se, but I'm sure you have had to have sampled meat from a pellet cooker. I mean, it's not like only 2 or 3 people across the country have them. 4 out of the 5 of us actually own at least one pellet cooker.
Good for y'all.
What do you think about pellet cookers? Are you not a fan?
I don't have one. I don't know if I'm a fan or not because I've never used one. But I don't understand. They make all these flavors of pellets, and the panel says I can't really taste the difference in the pellets. And you go to the store and there's cherry, oak, spearmint, peppermint. Let me get to my favorite flavor of pellets. I like these pellets right here.
Kingsford charcoal?
That's the pellet that I use in my smokers. And you know what I use when I run out of that?
What?
I get these pellets.
Wow.
I got a guy in Ringgold, Georgia that makes these pellets for me. They're called sticks. And you can tell the difference. That's a oak stick, and you can tell the difference between an oak stick and a hickory stick.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I guess that's where the big question lies here. Let's quickly go around the panel. Steve, are you saying with 100% assurity that if I fired up my Lang offset cooker and cooked barbecue foods for you, and that is not a Kinger reference, that just happens to have rolled off the tongue, that if I used apple sticks and then went to hickory sticks and then went to oak sticks, that you would be able to tell me which species of wood that is?
I couldn't tell you which species of wood. I could recognize a taste if you cooked a different meat. If you put 3 meats in front of me, had apple, oak, and hickory, I could definitely taste the difference. So using real wood. But now, I mean, I would think that's what a pellet is, though, right, guys?
This is the argument that they're making, though, right? Is that even though there's all these flavors, they're not able to pick out exactly.
They can't tell the difference, but they make. I go to Walmart, I see a whole wall full of them. There's like 25 different flavors, but nobody can tell the difference. I don't get it.
All right.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
A lot of pellets use a base wood. So depending on the regionality, so like here in Texas, I think the base wood is oak, 70%. So if you're getting hickory, you're using a base wood of oak, and then it's like 30-40% hickory. So there is a blending, just like Dave said, in terms of it all kind of blends together now. Now I do think that cherry may impart some a little bit of color. So a lot of people use cherry with ribs and things, and I do use apple with chicken and poultry. It is a little lighter, but I just don't mess with the pellets as a variable too much. I just use pretty much the same thing, like the Texas blend I use for most everything, and apple for poultry.
John, your thoughts?
I use the same kind of pellet all the time. I played around with them. I don't want to mess with it. I just want to put in. I use a maple cherry blend because it was the last time I bought a big batch. They were affordable. Michigan maple is the base wood for Michigan made pellets. But I can't tell you the difference between an oak pellet base and a maple pellet base.
Could you tell the difference if I cooked on a stick burner?
I think I could if you were cooking with some mesquite in there. Yes, yeah. But hickory and oak maybe, but other than that, no, I couldn't tell.
David, if I cooked on sticks or a pellet cooker, would you have the same issue discerning between species?
I think it would be easier on sticks for sure, just because the overall flavor is more intense. I mean, that's a lot of people that don't like pellet cookers. That's their number one complaint. There's not a strong enough wood flavor. And to Doug's point, the base of almost everything I can find here locally is oak with flavorings added. And I can tell a difference in flavor if I get 100. There are some people that make 100% pecan, 100% cherry in the pellets, and they're very expensive. And to John's point, I go to my local big box warehouse store, like a Home Depot or Lowe's. I can get a 40-pound bag of pellets for $16. Actually, last time it was $14.99. That's a lot less expensive than if you're buying these blends that say they're 100%. And with the difference being so slight between the two, I'd rather buy twice as many pellets.
That's a good dovetail into the second part of this question, which is, do you see a difference in quality depending on, I guess, what would be a manufacturer, John?
I don't. I've used what I would say a low-end pellet, and I'm not knocking this pellet. It's Pit Boss. It's a Walmart pellet. I use a high-end pellet now. And yeah, I can look at the pellet and see a physical difference in the pellet, but it doesn't perform any differently. I might get a little more dust in the bag, but for me, it's still wood. It's still going in the hopper, still going to go down the auger, it's still going to burn. So I find no difference in quality compared to taste.
Doug?
John, one question. When you say you see a physical difference in the pellet, what do you mean?
It's, it may be a slightly different color. There tends to be smaller, maybe there's smaller pieces, maybe there's more dust in the bag.
Okay. I actually do. 2-3 times I've used other pellets. I have found that particularly one brand in particular, which will remain nameless, produces a lot more ash, and I don't want that ash on my food. And so, with Traeger pellets, and they're made specifically with the right amount of humidity. And if you'll notice, the new pellet should be shiny. That's why I was asking John in terms of, it should be shiny. Once it starts absorbing some moisture from the air, et cetera, like if you've got an open bag or, you haven't really stored it very well, it'll start to become dull. And then that's actually changing the pellet. And pellets, from what I know, have a shelf life of about 1 year. So I think there is definitely a difference in the quality of pellets just based on the amount of ash that it produces.
Steve, I assume you don't really have too much of an opinion here.
I've always got an opinion, Greg.
Yes. Well, I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, and then you don't really have too much to say.
I don't know about. I just don't know about it. I don't even know how they work. Doug said something about they don't put out as much ash. Do pellet cookers put out a byproduct, or what? I thought the pellets dropped went down a little tube into a little cup and burned, and where does it?
Just collects on the bottom.
It comes out of the bottom.
Yeah.
So there's a byproduct.
Yeah, just
okay.
it's like
I don't know,
fly ash or something along these lines. I mean, it's not fly ash per se, but I mean, it's just burned a lot less byproduct that you would get from burning regular sticks. I would say for sure.
Can that get into the chamber of the smoker?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if it's producing a lot of ash, that is going to, you can actually see it. You can sometimes see it on the outside of the smoker, and then that's obviously getting on your food as well.
Well, I know in a gravity smoker, you have to. I went at a competition. I always fill mine up when it's halfway because if you let it get too low, it'll create a lot of ash. Go into the smoker when you drop the charcoals down in the chimney, if they got a long way to drop. So
right,
same principle, I guess.
David, your thoughts?
I haven't seen a big difference in quality. The way the Yoder's designed, it has holes that gradually get larger the further away you are from the firebox. And so the closer where it is, where you're going to have more ash, it's less likely for the ash to actually come up into the food. So I really haven't seen that issue. The one thing I'd like to do is kind of run a test with different pellets to see if they burn any faster or longer, or if you get more time out of them. The problem that I've tried before, and one time it was 32 degrees and I felt like I went through 40 pounds of pellets in about 6 hours. And then in the middle of the summer when I'm cooking, I can make a 40-pound bag go through 3 or 4 cooks.
Sure.
So I'd like to see quality on the same type of day, like the same temperature, running in the same smoker. I'd like to see if one lasted longer than the other, but no discerning difference in anything else.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I've used Green Mountain Grill pellets. I've used Traeger pellets. I've used Barbecue or Delight pellets, obviously cooking pellets. And I would say on the whole, now cooking pellets does offer some of those 100% species wood. I think they have a hickory pellet. They might have something else. And they've been getting into a lot of other avant-garde flavors like the, apple mash jack pellet and stuff like this. But by and large, as Doug said, if it's not a batch that maybe got misplaced in the warehouse somewhere and it's got 4 years of age on it, I mean, this isn't like a California Cabernet that's going to get better after 5 years and 10 years. It's going to go downhill. Or water has gotten into it and expanded the pellets. Obviously, that's a bad thing. Really haven't noticed too much of a difference other than maybe some byproduct ash. So I'm not too concerned about. I just want to have access to some type of food-grade pellet should I need it. And that's my major concern. And then if there are some brands that I have a little bit easier access to that I'm partial to, then obviously I'll buy those.
Doug, can I ask you real quick, the Apple Jack pellet? I tried that. I was pretty disappointed. Like the concept of there being fruit particles in the pellet, I was really excited when I tried that. I couldn't tell any difference in that in, a regular apple wood pellet or cherry wood pellet. Could you?
No, I said apple pellets. I've never used Apple Jack. Sorry.
Great.
Yeah. Those are cooking pellets, right? The ones you're talking about? Okay. Yeah, I haven't used those yet, but I would like to get my hands on it for sure. Let's move to the second question. Favorite non-barbecue dishes or proteins for socials or parties, gatherings, what have you? And this will take us up to the first break. Steve, we'll start with you.
Anything bacon. I like to do homemade bacon. I like to do slices of bacon. I'll do burnt belly, pork belly burnt ends, and I love doing it. Just love anything bacon. And I've been getting into a little Chinese food lately. I'm not a chef type of Chinese. I open the bag and the frozen bag and throw it in the skillet. But that's a big deal for me because I've never tried Chinese food
ever
until the last. Well, no, not
what?
ever. It's like the last year and a half. I've just acquired a taste for it. And because as you get older, you guys will someday go through this. As you get older, your taste buds die. Like I can't taste a steak. The only thing I can taste on a steak is the butcher's barbecue rub and the any kind of a steak sauce that I might be using at the time.
What?
But with Chinese food, I can taste it.
Steve, have you been to the doctor? I mean, maybe this isn't, you hit 50 and your tongue dies. I mean, maybe you got a real issue.
No, I don't smoke. I don't do anything that would kill. It's just a natural thing. I've talked with my buddies, and they say the same thing. But I tell you what, that orange chicken that these Chinese people make is just off the chain.
These Chinese people? What the hell are you talking about? These Chinese people.
Don't y'all have a Panda Express in Cleveland?
Oh my God! Yes, but
that's who works there. Are Chinese people.
All right,
so they're wonderful people.
Yes, of course.
They're wonderful. I mean, they cook. They got these huge woks back there, and they watch them on that gas thing. They hit that gas pedal, and the gas flies up everywhere. It's awesome. And the food tastes good too.
And you are just now finding your stride on Chinese food.
Yes, I know.
Never as a kid growing up,
no.
Quick dinner.
Never got on my radar.
Beef and broccoli, nothing? Never got on your radar. Was there Chinese restaurants in Ooltewah?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Huh.
There's a couple, but I never went in them.
Interesting. So are you almost to the jump off point of doing a Chinese takeout?
Chinese takeout? What do you mean, ordering it to go?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. I go to the Panda Express right across the street. It's got a drive-through window.
All right.
I've got those. I have those little boxes here. I use the little Chinese boxes all the time.
Look, I want to put you on assignment for next month. I want you to go to get Chinese takeout, and then I want an evaluation. That's an assignment.
I bought chopsticks too. I know how to use chopsticks now too.
I don't know how to do that, but I mean, I've had Chinese food for as long as I can remember. Oh my goodness! All right, guys, we're going to get to the rest of you here in just a minute. Let me do a little quick read for the gang over at Traeger. That's right. Hey, behind every great meal is a great grill. Not just any grill, the Traeger grill and the Timberline is Traeger's most advanced grill yet. It allows you to grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and barbecue like a pro, no matter what your level, thanks to the incredible wood-fired taste. Seriously, you don't know flavor till you're cooking with it. Traeger grills use all-natural hardwood pellets as fuel, so you're literally cooking with flavor. From low and slow smoked ribs to a seared steak, even a baked apple pie, Traegers can handle it all. And the Traeger Timberline makes it even easier thanks to the Wi-Fi capability. You can check on your cooks, kick up the temperature, and set custom cook cycles anytime, anywhere, right from your phone through the Traeger Grill app. In fact, if I had a brisket on the grill right now, I could check everything, make adjustments. It would be awesome. You can find one at your local Traeger dealer, maybe, or better to check them out online, TraegerGrills.com, especially the Timberline. They're very sought-after items. Want to beef up that barbecue game of yours? Hell yeah. Traeger Grills Shop Class is going coast to coast, bringing barbecue knowledge and amazing wood-fired food everywhere they go. Taught by professionals like Texas embedded correspondent Doug Scheiding and Matt Pittman and Chad Ward and Danielle Bennett and all those guys. They will help you bring home all the skills you need to reach barbecue glory. That's right. Find a shop class near you by signing up today at TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. That's TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. We will be back with the embedded correspondents and those Chinese people. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. We're talking about favorite non-barbecue dishes for parties, maybe just for dinner. Steve Ray has unveiled a revelation, the likes I have never heard. Steve, how old are you?
I'll be 60 in April.
Just now finding out about Chinese food. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You like egg rolls?
Love them.
All right, me too. Doug, what do you like for non-barbecue food?
Non-barbecue and kind of party stuff. I make, queso, chips.
Oh, no. Doug! He'll come back here in a second.
Of the Pyramid Foundation. Yes.
Doug, you just blinked out. Go ahead and start again. No, it was the internet. Go ahead.
I blinked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said queso, and then the internet hated it and muted you.
Oh, queso is a basic food group for me. So it's on the bottom of the pyramid, chips and hot sauce. And so I like to do smoked queso on the pit, and I actually cold smoke the cheese ahead of time. I like to cold smoke shredded cheese first of all. And Steve, pay attention. And and
his producer's talking to him.
Yeah, exactly. So I cook that in a Dutch oven, and then so I add some chorizo to it and some other things. And so I like to do smoked queso. I also like to do carne asada. And as Fred Robles says to me, it's the gringo version of carne asada. And so I use my trimmings from brisket, and then I smoke that overnight. And then I put that into a braising liquid and make carne asada for like breakfast and tacos and things like that. From a non-meat standpoint, I actually have just released on the Traeger side a smoked sea bass recipe, and that was a recipe that I developed when I was asked to cook for the Zach Brown Band. And when he's touring, he does not eat meat. Even I tried really hard to get him to try some meat, but he wanted sea bass because he thinks it messes with his vocal cords when he's on tour, so he doesn't eat meat. So, but he liked it so much that he took both of my rubs that I use for the recipe because he wanted his guys to cook it. So those are some of the things I cook.
Doug, is there is it a big Mexican influence down where you are, food wise, or no?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I go eat Mexican food 2 to 3 times a week, and wow. I get breakfast tacos in the morning, probably 3 to 4 times a week.
Jon Solberg, your favorite non-barbecue related food?
You know, I love to make big pots of soup. I love to make scratch stock. Mm-hmm. I love to make a big stock and then make 2 different kinds of soups. If you're having a party, throw down and the crazy part is I'm not really a big soup fan, but I absolutely love to make them. Or soup stews, jambalayas, those kind of things. It's really enjoyable for me to do it, to be honest.
David, favorite non-barbecue foods?
Yeah, so I like making fish. Right now, one of my favorite things to do is to use the Instapot to make carnitas. I love pork carnitas, and that takes a long time if you're doing it traditionally. Instapot, I think it's done in about an hour, so that's great. I've just ordered the stuff to get into trying to roll my own sushi. I could eat sushi breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love it, and I would like to try to start preparing it myself. And then what Doug said with dips, chips and dips at a party, especially have 4 or 5 different kinds of dips for people to try. I have a recipe for Huff Daddy dip, which is sausage, cream cheese, corn, rotel, onions. It's a fantastic in place of a queso. And that's about it. You said you're a big sushi fan. Now, much like Steve being introduced to Chinese food, I mean, I knew about sushi for, years, but I've always was a little weirded out by it. But I tried it about 4 months ago and immediately head over heels in love for the most part. I mean, some of the stuff a little too skeeved out with, but I would say at least 50% of the stuff I'm pretty good with. Is that and you're a big keto guy, David. We kind of follow your progress and live with your results there. So is that a friendly thing to you, or are you like rice or what? So if I'm on keto, and as you know, I've gone on and off and trying to get back on it. If you're on keto, you can't eat the rolls. You can eat sashimi, which is just the fish raw, or you can have rolls that some of them are made without rice. But no, that white grain rice on a sushi roll is definitely not keto friendly.
All right, my favorite non-barbecue foods. I can't believe nobody said this, for crying out loud. Every day of the week, twice on Sunday, actually twice every day, pizza. What? Of course. Any kind of pizza. The worst pizza is still, it's like sex. The worst sex is still the best sex. The worst pizza is still the best pizza in my regard. So that would be my pick for favorite non-barbecue food. Although running a very tight second, it could be 1A, 1B, and these are not keto friendly or any diet friendly. What I just made for dinner tonight, which is spaghetti. I love making a pot of homemade red sauce, which I have a recipe for, and I love the romance and the chemistry of making a great red sauce and replicating it time after time, putting in the meatballs, putting in the sausage, letting it go for 5 and 6 hours at a slow cook, letting it thicken up just to the right consistency, and then putting it on top of al dente, thin spaghetti, topping with some fresh grated pecorino romano parmigiana. Love it. It's my favorite stuff. And thank God I was blessed with a great metabolism, because otherwise I would be a big fat fuck. But luckily I was able to somehow get away from that. But I'll be paying for it in the end, which is why I started working out like for a week. But we'll see how long that lasts.
Did you just go Jada De La Renta on us there, Doug? I mean, Greg?
You're damn right I did.
Accent?
Yes, I did. Fake accent. All English until we got to the Italian words, and then I nerded out. Question number 3, we'll start with David Huff. People posting workout videos on Instagram, for or against? And here's specifically what I'm talking about. If your deal on Instagram is Johnny Cake Fitness and you're posting videos of you being a fitness guy, okay, that's your deal. What I'm talking about specifically is, I had him on the show, Nick Solaris. Love this guy's feed. Love the pictures that he's taking. I don't understand why I see 4 or 5 Instagram stories back to back to back with him boxing a heavy bag in his apartment and doing footwork and jumping rope. I don't get where that fits in. Also, Salt Bay. I love his cutting of the steaks, and he's showing all of his various Nusret restaurants around the world. And then I got to watch 8 videos of him, granted, sculpted like a god. Maybe he has an 8-pack. He's very strong. He's in tip-top condition. I could give a rat's ass that he does the heavy ropes, that he can bench press 700 pounds 15 times. Food-wise, if you are doing food, do food. I don't get the workout video. I'm not posting of me getting up at 4:30 in the morning and getting on the elliptical machine so you know what I'm doing. Who gives a crap about that? David, where are you at?
Well, you can tell I'm not on the workout videos. I can tell you that much right now. Play the fat drop. Thank you. There you go. No, I don't get it. I'm with you, Greg. People are known for things on Instagram. They have their thing. Don't try to cross them, especially not with workouts. Who cares? There's plenty of people that are workout people that I can follow if that's what I want. So, stick with food if that's your thing.
Steve?
Yeah, it depends on who it is. If it's Christy Brinkley, I'm all about it.
Yeah, but she's not making food pictures, Steve.
No, but she's doing workout videos.
I know, but I just said if your deal is fitness, then do that. That's fine.
Hey, if Christy Brinkley wants to cook spaghetti, I'd watch her too.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Brooke Shields, the same thing. She cooks. She has food pictures and she mixes it up a little bit.
Classic beauties, Steve. Good pulls.
Oh, you got that right.
Doug, what do you think?
I actually think it's a borderline between the people that post them. They either tend to be narcissistic and narcissism, and why are they posting? Because they're doing it for themselves. On the other people are the ones that are actually doing good, and and I'm more of a picture guy. I don't need to see the video. I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. I don't need to see. I get seeing other people work out all the time. But if they're posting and it is a kind of a way to kind of motivate them to move forward and lose more weight, et cetera, and show everyone how much they've lost, I'm good with that. Keep doing it and keep working out. But I think for the most part, just keep your videos to yourself.
John?
Well, Instagram is a very individual thing. People, I don't want to, not everybody on Instagram is like us who are solely focused on one thing. So I tolerate it. I don't tend to like it. I tend to skip over it. And again, it's individual. So I guess I'm going to take a neutral stance. But if it gets to be too much, yeah, it's like, I don't need to see it. The thing that really gets me is stop showing me the sign of your gym every morning at 4 a.m. and say, hey, I'm going to the gym. Oh, well, it's the same Planet Fitness sign I've seen the last 7 days. I'm good. I'm done with that. That's the thing that gets me. The rest of it, I think it's all real individual.
Question to round out the evening, gentlemen, which is, should Korean barbecue joints be paying their customers instead of the other way around, or at least rebate some cash back because you are cooking your food? So why go out? Doug?
Okay. All right. I guess we know who posted this ridiculous question.
Me.
But yeah, unbelievable. No. Is the guest cooking for the waiter? No. Does somebody pay you to cook at home?
No.
No. Do you pay for food to take home? Yes. Is this a business? Yes. So I think that it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous presumption that they should be paying us. Now, there is one place in San Antonio that will charge you more, Korean barbecue, that will charge you more if you leave food on your plate and don't cook it. So they'll charge you an extra $4 to $5 if you get some of the food and then don't cook it all. So I thought that's an interesting take. So instead of $18, maybe it's $23 a person. So, but anyway,
you have no problem with you having to go cook your meal at some place that you're paying.
I have no problem doing that.
All right.
And in fact, I've been to Seoul, South Korea, and I have cooked my meal over there. Now, I'm not sure what meat it was, but I did cook some, what do they call it? Bulgogi. I did cook some bulgogi over there.
Steve, your thoughts?
All right. And Doug, what that Bulgaria, that word you use is Korean for dachshund. I speak Korean. I've never been to a Korean barbecue. I don't even know what it is.
Surprise.
We don't have one in Chattanooga.
It's right next to the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, I know where that is. What is it? We're getting one here in Chattanooga, the first one ever. What do you mean you have to cook your own food? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean, I guess Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, but just to go real high level, it would be like if you go to a Japanese, steakhouse or a hibachi where they, have that hot thing right in the middle of the table. Now, the difference, of course, being is they do send a chef out at that and they do all the tricks and tomfoolery. But here, they give you the raw meat and then you have to cook it.
What do you mean raw meat? Like, what if you want like a pork, they bring you a pork chop, you have to cook it?
Yeah. Or steak.
I mean,
yes.
I mean,
a Korean pork chop.
Korean barbecue means I'm assuming they eat pigs over there. Those Korean people.
Wow, I knew that was coming. That was coming.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm not playing dumb. I am dumb.
Doug, is that
I have no idea.
That's right, right? I mean, you're cooking your food. Doug?
Yeah.
You're cooking your food, right?
Yes, I'm cooking my food. And a lot of times, as we've proven in our steak research, we can cook the damn steak better than the chef can.
Well, agreed.
What do they give you to cook, though? Tell me what you cook, Doug. I mean, where did you order? Say, I want a steak, and then they bring you a steak and you cooked it?
No, they bring you like shredded meat. They bring you some fish. I know how much you like fish. They bring you chicken. You can ask for various types of meat, and then you can cook them.
Oh, okay. On a griddle.
On a round pan up in the front,
like
in the middle of the table,
like a big Evo, right? I guess.
Yeah. Something along those lines.
Okay.
I don't know about it.
Well, we're getting one. We're getting one here. The next couple of weeks is going to open. I'll go.
David,
I'll report back.
David, what do you know?
So it's all part of the experience, right? I mean, people make money off of different food ventures. That's not nearly as ridiculous as going to eat in complete darkness. I don't understand that food trend where you can't see your food. You just have to go by smell and taste. I mean, there's lots of weird trends. Nothing wrong with the Korean barbecue, cooking your food. I agree to Doug's point. I probably trust myself more than the chef sometimes anyway.
John, your thought on Korean barbecue?
You know, the Korean barbecue I go to here where I live, you don't cook your food.
Oh.
You can tend it. The server brings it out, lays it on the table, grill. She does the cooking. She might walk away. All the sides are brought out. You may have to tend to the food a little bit. But no, if she walked away and I'm cooking it, I'm cooking it. I don't have a problem with it at all. I think the Korean barbecue experience itself, the Korean food culture is an incredible experience. I love it a lot. And if I got to cook it, I'm going to cook it. But I don't typically run into that.
The top left of your screen is embedded correspondent from Tennessee, Steve Ray, Owl's Nest Barbecue. Steve, when is your show on the internet?
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Matt Barber. Hot Wachulas. Right back from Europe. He'll be telling us all about his cooking experience in the North Italian Alps.
Wow. Nice.
How about that?
Nice. Bottom left, currently in Amarillo, Texas, but representing Oklahoma as the Oklahoma embedded correspondent, David Huff. The gentleman on your bottom right is Jon Solberg, the executive producer of the Best Moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, hailing from Michigan, and the longest tenured embedded correspondent, the first ever, by the way. Doug Scheiding is from Texas. Guys, always appreciate the time, and we will look for you again next month. The embedded correspondents, bringing it strong as always, no doubt about it.
Guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
Wow. Well,
yummy.
Girls Can Grill in the instant chat saying that they were over in Korea and said that the experience is great. So I will find the best Korean barbecue joint in Cleveland, and I will go. Maybe I'll hit up my buddy Doug Tratner. All right. We will round for home here. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And this segment brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck. Fireboard fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. I just got mine a couple weeks ago. Let me tell you, set up super easy. Paired right with the phone, got right on my local area network. Bing, bang, boom. I'm on Wi-Fi monitoring. And again, you can load out with up to 6 different temperatures. Temperature probes, either pit or internal. Also, they do have the one that has the fan option as well. So, there you go. Let's head out. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Susie Bullock from Hey Grill Hey. Her website is heygrillhey.com. If you like her stuff and you're interested in getting some more exclusive content, then you're going to want to sign up for her Grill Squad, $50 for the year. Seems like pretty good value. They have podcasts that are going to be released only to the Grill Squad. Nice. Maybe I should make the Centralite Squad and not release any more of these audio podcasts unless you sign up. That'd be a good idea. Second hour, Steve Ray from Tennessee, Doug Scheiding from Texas, David Huff from Oklahoma, and Jon Solberg from Michigan, the embedded correspondents. Talking about a number of topics tonight. Successful as always. Big show planned for you next week. Hope you're planning on making it for that. Sign up for the podcast if you're going to miss it. Go to the website, hit the subscribe link, and it gives you all the ways. You can even get it via email, believe it or not. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.